Hey everybody, Luke Gordon here, and today's video is all about what I consider the #1 single best exercise for shoulder pain. And before I jump into the clinic here and show you the exercise, I want to just kind of give you a little bit more background on it and why I can make such a bold claim as to say it's the best exercise, the single best exercise for shoulder pain. Because if you've been following my channel, I have a lot of exercises and stretches and information about shoulder pain, rotator cuff tendonitis, rotator cuff tendinosis, all these things. So to be able to narrow it down to one exercise is really difficult to do, because typically what you should be thinking is, how can this guy make that claim when he doesn't even know what's causing my shoulder pain? And typically I would agree with you on that you really can't determine the best course of action until you know the cause. But that's what's so nice about this exercise, is that it really doesn't matter the underlying cause of your pain. It just matters how you use the exercise. And again, the reason I can say that is because let's say I have a sore right shoulder and I have a really hard time lifting my right arm out towards the front or out towards the side, is that with this exercise, there's no chance of me making my right arm worse, because I'm going to be using a different part of my body to improve the right side. So let me give you a quick introduction to the exercise. And like I said, we'll hop into the clinic and I will show you how to perform it. So the exercise I'm talking about is called a TMR, or a total motion release arm raise. So with this exercise, what we're going to be doing is we're going to say, Luke has a sore right shoulder. You have a sore right shoulder with difficulty using it, difficulty reaching, things like that. And what I'm going to do with a TMR arm raise is I'm going to go over to my opposite shoulder, in this case my left shoulder, and I'm going to work on some exercises for my left shoulder and see if that has an improvement on my right shoulder. Now it sounds kind of weird. It sounds kind of like, I don't know, voodoo or snake oil or something like that. But stick with me on this one, because for a lot of my clients with sore shoulders, it works really well, especially if they have rotator cuff irritation or weakness or just those painful motions that they can't get through. So for these clients, it oftentimes works really well. And I would also stick with this one if you've had PT injections, stuff like that, and you just haven't gotten the results that you wanted to get. You really have nothing to lose by trying this exercise, because again, we're going to be using other parts of your body that aren't painful at all to have a positive impact on the right shoulder. So that's my brief introduction to TMR arm raises. Let's go hop into the clinic and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so now that I've explained how TMR arm raises work, I'm going to show you the exercise, and I'm going to show you a few ways to tweak it or modify it depending on how it goes for you. So again, to start the exercise, let's say my right shoulder is the one that hurts, and for example, it's very common to have difficulty raising it out in front of the body or out to the side. So let's just pick a motion that's hard to do. So let's say reaching out to in front of my body here is what I'm trying to improve. So my right shoulder is the one that hurts, and I'm trying to improve it. And the way I'm going to do that is by working the left shoulder. So before I start the exercise, what I want to do is just somehow rate the right shoulder. How bad is it? So scale of 0 to 100 is how TMR is usually performed. 0 is no difficulty at all. 100 is the worst. So let's say overall I say, well, it's really hard compared to my left arm, which has no difficulty at all. Let's say I consider this like a 60. So let's just rate it. Rate it, and then make sure that your left arm does the motion very smoothly, very easily. So then what we're going to do with the TMR arm raise is we're going to exercise the good side to hopefully have a positive effect on the bad side, or the difficult side. So what I'm going to do is the same exact motion that I'm trying to improve on the right, my sore side, with the left. So I'm just going to do arm raises. So TMR arm raises, I'm going to do 2 sets of 15. And I'm just going to go up and down as high as I can, keeping my elbow relatively straight. I'm not that flexible, so sometimes my elbow bends as I go up. But just as high as I can, I'm going to do 15 reps. And I'm going to do them, smooth, but I'm not going to do it super slow. I'm just going to get it up there. And you might notice I'm sitting on a seat that has no arms, which is nice, because then my arm can just go up and down all the way to my side. So I'm going to do 2 sets of 15 reps with the good side. That's a TMR arm raise. And then let's just say I did 2 sets of 15. Nice, smooth, fairly fast pace. I'm going to go back to my right arm, and I'm just going to reassess. So I'm going to lift it up and say, oh, usually what will happen is it feels a little bit better. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I can get a little higher, a little easier, a little less painful. So overall, I had rated it a 60 when I started. Now let's say I got it down to a 50. So early on, this is what you can expect with the TMR arm raise, is that it'll feel slightly better after the first round of 2 sets of 15. So what you want to do then is if it seems like the first round worked and you had a positive effect, you want to rest for a few minutes and just do it again. So go back to your good side and do the same exact thing, 2 sets of 15. Work it all the way up, keep the arm close to the side of your head, and then you're going to go back over to the right arm and you're going to reassess again and just test it. So usually after that second round, a lot of the clients I work with will say, okay, now it went from a 60, from a 50 down to like a 30. So that's great. You've improved your motion, you've improved the pain without really even having to do anything with the involved side, which is really great. So at that point, you've done 2 rounds of 2 sets of 15. You can do more rounds, or you can modify it if you want to. So let me show you 2 quick modifications of the exercise. The first one is that if your good side is now getting a little tired of doing all these arm raises, is that you could just go up and you could do a 30-second hold, and that works well too. So with a 30-second hold, you just want to, again, keep your arm close to your head and then just get it up as high as you can and kind of stretch it up there as you're going. So don't just hold it down here. Hold it all the way at the end and continue to kind of stretch as you go, just relaxing the other arm. So again, just do it twice. So 30-second hold, rest, 30-second hold, and then always retest and see if it had a positive effect. So again, give it a number, give it a rating. The other modification that you can use is that if you feel like doing 2 sets of 15 over here works, but really you want to get a little bit more aggressive and you want to see if you can get a better outcome, what I would suggest doing for this modification is just adding a weight to your hand. So if you got like a 2 or 3 pound dumbbell at home, you can use that. Can of soup, can of tomato sauce, whatever you have on hand. Go grab a rock from your backyard, whatever you've got, and add a little bit of weight. Because what we're doing, which I briefly explained at the beginning of the video, is we're really, the way TMR exercises work, there's different philosophies, but the one that makes the most sense, I think, to PTs is this idea of neurological overflow, which means that the muscle or the movement pattern that I'm going to use to lift my right arm, which is stored in my brain, is the same movement pattern that I'm going to use to lift my left arm. The big difference is that the movement pattern is working really well on my non-painful left side, and it's not working so well on the right side. Things are getting out of whack. It's just not firing correctly. So if I access that movement pattern from my brain on the left side repeatedly, neurologically what will happen is that same movement pattern will overflow to my right side, and then I try the right side, and all of a sudden, it's better. So it's a pretty cool concept. It works really well. The reason I think it's the best exercise for shoulder pain is that it tends to work across the board. And the nice thing is that we're not getting into any type of specific diagnosis or anything more detailed, so it can be used really easily. The other nice thing too is that if it doesn't work, you haven't lost anything. You haven't been sitting there trying to reach with your painful arm over and over, and now you've got a really painful arm. You tried it, it didn't work, now you feel worse. You're using your other arm, which is theoretically non-painful, works real easily. So at the very least, you lost 5 minutes of your time doing 2 sets of 15 twice and trying to modify it, but you don't feel any worse on this painful side. The other thing that I'll say before I go on this video is that oftentimes I will have dramatic effects with clients. So they'll say, wow, I really just can't reach it here. Typically they've got a rotator cuff issue, rotator cuff tendonitis, tendinosis. It works best, in my opinion, with just rotator cuff pain and weakness. And there are some clients who can barely lift their arm, and after 2 sets of 15, their painful arm just goes flying up to the ceiling. So it's pretty cool. Doesn't always work that dramatically, but even if you can get a 20 or 30% improvement in your ability to raise your painful side by just working the non-painful side, I think that's pretty cool, worth trying out. Last thing I want to say before I go is that you can do these a couple times a day as long as they feel good. Don't overwork your good side. And then I'm going to make another follow-up video to this one because one of my other favorite ways to improve an arm raise is actually by doing a leg raise. Sounds really weird. I'll explain it in that video and link it to the end of this one if you want to watch it. But for now, give these a try and leave me a comment below the video and tell me if they work for you. I'd love to just kind of hear what your experience is with them. Again, this is a TMR, total motion release arm raise. You can learn more about total motion release online, of course. Their founder, Tom DeLonzo Baker, I'll give him full credit for the technique and everything. If you want to learn more in depth, definitely contact him. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope it helps.